In April, Margaret Thatcher stopped happening. Thatcher's passing finally allowed the news to hit play on all the pre-assembled biog packages they'd been quietly collating for years, and it quickly turned into an 80s nostalgia festival with all the greatest hits, footage of election day, champagne yuppies with giant phones, the miners' strike, sound bites from Maggie's fellow former Spitting Image castmates.
Well, of course, she did more for feminism than any feminist has ever done.
The Falklands War and catchphrases from iconic adverts.
British gas shares, they come out in November. If you see Sid, tell him.
Back on Earth, even as the Iron Lady was being driven away from the Ritz in one of those vans they used to take scabs through picket lines in, battle lines were being drawn. Because newspapers chiefly exist to spoon-feed the opinions of their readers back to them, much like an arse-to-mouth hosepipe, they can cover divisive figures like Margaret Thatcher with all the obvious bias you can eat.
TV news, however, is supposed to reflect the nation's opinions, which meant it had to sit on the fence until it got splinters in its soul, repeating the one thing it could reliably say, which is that she was divisive.
Margaret Thatcher was a Prime Minister who divided the country.
Margaret Thatcher profoundly divided opinions.
The flag of the country she divided and transformed flies at half-mast.
And since she divided opinion, we had to hear from both sides. In the blue corner, Prime Ministeroid David Cameron, seen here performing his Stars in Their Eyes cover version of Blair's People's Princess speech.
Margaret Thatcher didn't just lead our country, she saved our country.
By dividing it.
The news also unearthed some Maggie-loving members of the public.
Hello, you're live on Sky News. Can you just quickly show us your tribute, the ultimate tribute perhaps, to Baroness Thatcher? There you go, a new tattoo on your leg saying she never turned. And
oh, well, I'm sure that's what she would have wanted. Meanwhile, in the red corner, Labour droner Egghead Millipede did his best to discuss Thatcher for several uninterrupted seconds without slagging her off. And to make it even harder, he had to do it while standing in the middle of a lake.
David Cameron, Nick Clegg and myself were all shaped in a way by the politics of Lady Thatcher.
But it soon became apparent there was absolutely no shortage of folk prepared to vent their anti-Thatcher spleen on camera.
Margaret Thatcher destroyed my hometown. I'm glad she's dead.
Extra high-strength vitriol flowed from northern mining towns where Thatcher had closed pits and turned families to stone with her Medusa-like glare. Up here, Thatcher was about as popular as puss pie and piss gravy.
She weren't a woman, she was evil.
Yeah, you know, you hear a lot about how Thatcher consigned entire communities to the scrap heap, but on the plus side, she reinvigorated Britain's ingrained bitterness industry.
Amidst this febrile atmosphere, it was announced that Baroness Thatcher would be treated to a whopping great state funeral in scenes reminiscent of the opening credits of Dad's Army.
But by now, the news was notably preoccupied with an internet attempt to bump the song Ding Dong the Witch is Dead to the top of those pop charts, which apparently still exist.
This instantly became a stick to beat the BBC with in case it had to play the song on Radio 1's official Top 40 show.
The world of current affairs was clearly concerned the lyrics might be offensive, so it was weird that they couldn't seem to stop reciting them.
Ding dong, the witch is dead.
Ding dong, the witch is dead.
Ding dong, the witch is dead.
In the event, the BBC dodged a bullet by broadcasting a snippet of the song in a news report, and anyway, the #1 bid failed, thus depriving the nation of the first catchy #1 in a decade. Come the day of the funeral, the more extreme wing of the anti-Thatch camp organised a series of protests, at which it became clear Thatcher's savage cuts to arts funding had, rather cunningly, left her opponents without the skills to make a coherent effigy. These bizarre anti-funerals were conducted beneath the definitely not encouraging this in any way gaze of the news media, who were probably secretly delighted to have stumbled across this 21st century reimagining of the Wicker Man, replete with traditional northern minstrels and touching floral tributes. One thing's for sure, that Margaret Thatcher certainly was a divisive figure, and like her or loathe her, the lady's not returning.